The two official documents as far as Nigeria is concerned is the diplomatic and the official passport. Now, that in itself does not prima facie confer anything on you. What confers it is the class of visa on your document. So if you are to travel abroad with your personal passport because you have Schengen visa and you get into trouble, you have no official cover. There is nothing the mission there or the government here can do for you because you are traveling just as a policy. So this is very important. But if you are traveling with an official passport and you are given the pass of an official visa, then if anything were to happen, your mission in that country will immediately come to your rescue, and if the case cannot be resolved there, you have the government here to back it up. So these documents are essential. That's why they are considered. Now, the Vienna Convention established rules, prerogatives, privileges, and activities, according to representative. The precedence is the order according to rank or entitlement of a person, or says that. Observing precedence extremely important during official events. Failure to honor the order of precedence might be, equated to an insult. Words have been unleashed in the past owing to the abandonment of the order of precedence. In the medieval times, if a king or a country feels that the king's envoy was not accorded a protocol, that could lead to severance of relationship. And if things got worse, it could lead to crisis and sometimes full-blown war. Now, in our own local setting, yes, the presidential inauguration of the banquet of 2007, when I had the complex task again. Something very strange happened. The class of cards issued during inaugurations are colored and they are different. The one that invites you to the Eagle, Eagle Square is always the largest in number. All right? The one for the pre-inauguration is always very limited to very senior members of government, ministers, permanent secretaries, maybe special advisors, and top officials. The banquet is even more restrictive because all the heads of state that have come for the inauguration are invited to the banquet, and then the other invited guests are right. This is why it is important for the security and the protocol officers to work together. One should not feel superior to the other because both of them have essential duty to accomplish a desired and important objective, which was the banquet. Unfortunately, either by design or by default, the security were not properly equipped to which card we admit people to the banquet. And this is the truth, believe me. I got to the banquet hall 1 hour before, and it was almost filled. I was shocked. When I looked at the way some of them were dressed, my mind, there's no way these people have been invited to the banquet. So I politely asked them how they were holding. Lo and behold, it was the card for Eagle Square. So, and this is why sitting arrangement is important. We're not doing that today for this session. It's to avoid chaos. Not of the seats at the table. So how do you then get them removed? I will not use the word evict. But the whole thing is to get them to get up from there and leave the hall. One, I asked the security personnel to help. They refused. Why? If they agree to help to remove them, they will have to admit they were wrong to have admitted them in the first place. So ego was at stake. I had to associate that. And witnesses chaos, what is our jobs? Because I think that rank haters of God. So we managed to get some of them out. Now, there is a table, and there's some set of tables reserved for the diplomatic corps. That's what I'm coming from. And some people are taking this over. Now, what can you do? Luckily, Kate was the banquet manager. God bless her. So I was coming in and the rest of them. Unfortunately for me, the chief of staff just came in to see what was happening before telling the president to come in. And he said, I can come over here. He said, I don't want any excuse. Part of the diplomatic community was standing, and they were, I mean, luckily, haven't been chief of protocol, before I knew a few of them, and they were threatening to leave. If the whole diplomatic corps left in protest, that would be a serious problem afterwards. So what do we do? I called Kate and we rustled up to 6 tables. Only with tablecloth, no flowers, nothing. And hoping, to get some cutlery from inside our kitchen. What am I saying? As the protocol officer, you must learn to think on your only place you are glad to get 101. Okay, the one is to make sure when there's error. 99% is failure. Nobody will remember the 99% you did well. Only people will remember is that 1% that you didn't do well. And depending on how serious it is, it might affect your career. So we move on. So the most fundamental rule is that the person of the diplomatic agent is involved and it is protected and is invaluable. Diplomatic law or convention, if you like, works because of the principle of reciprocity. Do me, I do you, God over it. So each country retains that power to retaliate. There was a story told once about the Ghanaian High Commissioner in London being told. People who in London in the 80s and 90s know the problem we had with parking. Because all the embassies in central London, just around all the Nigerian embassy, you had all of them. There's nowhere to park. And yet they need to bring their car to work. J.J. Rollins was the head of state in Ghana. And when he was told, he didn't ask why they drove the car. He said, go and look for the British High Commissioner's car, wherever you find it, and throw it. Well, around the front of the car parked somewhere, other in front of the car was full. Yeah. The resolution of that problem, because in 2 days flat, they released the car of the British, the Ghanaian Commissioner in London. We Africans, we must put together in 7 days to get the British High Commissioner's car released. So reciprocity is one of the things that makes the law work. Now, essence of protocol, I'll just gloss over that quickly. We have been discussing all that. It is to facilitate smooth interaction between officials and to avoid unnecessary confrontation or disharmony. It is used for observance of the precedents. It ensures seamless orchestration of events like we will learn. So creating a distraction-free environment is one of the key essence of protocol. Next slide. So, protocol officers, what are the essential points? You know this. Versatility, knowledge, trust, patience, plan. You want to be jack of all trades and master of all. Ensure that you have a bit of general knowledge about things so that you are able to advise your principal. You must have knowledge. If your principal is going to an event, it is your duty to find out what the event is about. Are they going to make any remarks? Yes. Then ensure that the appropriate department or unit is on a draft in good enough time. You are not the one writing it, but ensure that the approach is the right time. If then you must do what you call a reconnaissance visit before then to survey the building. If possible, to ask the organizer, where is my principal going to see? There's nothing as bad as bringing your principal late. What you do it? Look, it is embarrassing. People will come at your principal. They will regard them as study, and that diminishes from their public image. I know it's stylish to be late in Nigeria, but I'm telling you, international best practice. Them to live in good time. Don't need to maintain the way to the airport. It is dangerous for your principal. It is dangerous for other road users. And public officials should not be caught in such reckless behavior. That is what protocol is about. You advise and let them know. I had a principal in the foreign office. I said, Mr. Regali smiling. He told me, because we had known before, when I was still open. I said, oh, I think you're the one here. I said, yes, sir. He said, if I'm late for any of my events, I will warn you. I did it. We used to have a holding room when we were in Maputo Street. And I scheduled for him to meet diplomats twice a week. When it's time, he either has his accolades there and he has grumbling and but he's following me. Okay? So because this thing is scheduled, he's following me, he gets there. If he grumbles throughout, he gets the job and say, hey, you never let me be myself and everything. One thing happened. The Indian Prime Minister was there. And he came on a Sunday. So we were going to do the arrival ceremony at the villa in the forecourt. And I got to his house. I called him. And the sister having breakfast and everything. I said, sir, you will have to drop that breakfast. Otherwise, you get late to the villa. I will not even get into the ceremony. And you are the foreign minister. The wife normally tell him that makes him leave the first table and run. I said, no, they say, you are not telling me. I've been married to this man for over 30 years. You can never make him leave his breakfast. I said, it's very true. I just told him, like I said, if we are late, we will not be able to participate. He just this day he came. He was looking, he was frowning at me. I didn't mind that. Because you know why? He was supposed to go and take the Indian Prime Minister and take him to the villa. So if it's late, you will make the man late as well. So these are the things of protocol I just want you to know. Now, you know, you must be knowledgeable, confident. Punctuality is the sort of business likeness. You don't argue, you must be disciplined, reliable, patient. You must be a team player. It's only a good team player that can be a good team player. There are no two ways about it. If you're a poor team leader and a good player, you're likely to be a bad team leader. Next slide. So who is the protocol officer? He is that invisible thread that holds everything, together. He's a person. He's not the subject of attention. Do not take off attention from your principal, otherwise you get into trouble. Right? It's like you go to an hotel, you see the front desk, everything looks nice and they say. Those making the front desk look nice are in the back room. So that is the work of the officer. He should perform his duties effectively and not, distracting attention from his principal. A protocol officer is not, and I said is not necessarily a bad carrier. Yes, sir. This was sir. A busy body that is around, someone appraising at the center of serious attention. This is not carrying for portraits. And please, I'll say this here. For security officers, personnel attached to their team, do not carry their bags. One is not your duty, secondly, is distracting from doing your duty. If danger comes, what do you do for the bag, or you draw your sidearm? No. Don't carry the bag, use that for the day. That's what we're here to teach you there. Do not say, yes, there was this canon of ambassador who said you should not carry the bag. I will repeat it. It's fast. So, next slide, please. Functions of a protocol officer. Well, like I said, collation of relevant information, scheduling of appointments. Make sure when you schedule appointments, you leave gap in between. For changeover and run over. Sometimes meetings run over. You should be able to have 15 minutes of praise, 10 minutes to stop the meeting, use 5 minutes to prepare your picture of the other one. Let me tell you this. Does anybody know what a cue card is? What a cue card is? It's old fashioned. You need cue cards. Right? Your job is to your principal comfortable and to together. If you sit in the same car with them, just tell them, sir, we're going for this program. These are the essential things. Write them on cue cards. Give to them. And all the rest of them. You can shuffle them. So, If you get that new card, you write it, it is confident. When we went to Vice Biden, with Minister Ojo Madueke, God rest his soul, and the company President Yar'Adua on the German Africa today. He was coming from El Shamak and was tired and everything. So before he came, I brought few cards. And he said, what are these morning multicolor cards? I said, they're called cue cards. So what do I use them for? I said, they're essentially not meant for you, even though you could use them. They're meant for the president. He said, what do you mean they're meant for the president? I said, the reason why you ride in the car with the president, it is not enough. It's functional duty. If the president is not traveling with his spouse, you ride with him. And that's why they call the foreign minister among people. I said, before we leave the hotel, that day I grabbed him. I dragged him into the president's. I say, you go there to bring the president about his daily activities. And once you get into the car, you have your cue card. Tell him this and this will be events. What is the essence? What are Nigerians' interests? And then when he's talking, with all these other things come up that you didn't expect, as the foreign minister, you sit beside him, you just put it on the cue card and slide it. Don't do it. And make well-informed intervention. So, I mean, yes, the foreign minister has no protocol officer, but he's actually the chief protocol officer to the president when it comes to meetings. All right? So I'm just letting you see that protocol can be both mundane and it could be sublime. Then management of program. There are some times when you as a protocol officer will have to write notes for your principal. Now, relationship between protocol officers and security officers. I can see Ambassador Odediola just came. I'm sure he will tell you a lot that they have had to settle between protocol officers and security officers. Ambassador Lolo was a witness of Ambassador Regali, he was right next to it. Look, it may look as something very mundane, but if you don't handle it well, it could go out, cause embarrassment, and cause problem. Because what happens is that it is not well managed here at home. When they go on international visits, it manifests. And what is at the bottom of this ego? It can cause problems that has very huge ramifications beyond the personnel who are fighting. So, I'm saying the essence of a good relationship. The importance of the two personnel working together is quite essential as it impacts on effective service delivery. The role of the two groups in the daily official engagement of the principal is vital. Without if or, it is both. So, cooperation and collaboration. The normal practice is that the protocol officer heads the group of other personnel working with any principal. He is the custodian of the program or engagement of the principal, who invariably advises the security operatives and members about both. The job of the security operative is also very important. Next slide. So, what do I encourage? Advise synergy instead of integration. That means synergetic working relationship between the protocol officers and security officials is very crucial for performance of their duties. Mutual understanding and respect. There is no need for trespassing or encroaching to each other's stuff as the roles and functions are clearly delineated. However, natural dynamics suggest cooperation and collaboration between the two officers. A factor of mixed security consciousness on the part of the protocol officers and protocol consciousness on the part of security operatives will serve as a bridge in cementing. Next slide. They have common objective. The focus of each officer's endeavor should be to serve the principal efficiently and effectively. It should be a positive sum. You gain again, and not a zero-sum game. You lose again. It should be a win-win situation where each support each other in a congenial working environment. Cooperative support should be the watchword. There is no need for showmanship or necessary attempt to outshine each other. Next slide. Now, this is just suggestive of how do you set up a critical unit. You can just adopt it as a guide, which you can now expand or contract based on your need. But I do this from what we do at the Foreign Office then. It might have changed now. We have the conference and the reception unit. Reception of visiting dignitaries, organization of conferences and meetings, scheduling of audiences and courtesy call, arrangement of public functions, procurement of gift items, organization of official dinners, preparation of speeches and statements, drawing of checklists, overseeing sitting arrangement and events. Next. Then you have your travel and transport. That's securing transport and accommodation, procurement of tickets if you are going outside the station, obtaining travel documents if you are going outside the country, and then processing of business. One watchword about travel documents is please have the data page of your principals and the data that they put in your phone. Always check the expiry date. Your principal is too busy, you may not know. Until they say they have to attend something in France, you find that the thing expired last week. And therefore, you cannot apply for visa. And most countries will not give you visa, you don't have up to 6 months validity on your passport. Please observe that. Now, welfare is done with other shares of government or the nature of community-related programs for the ministries and agencies that deal with community, because when you have a lot of grievances, then service delivery is not being effective. Handling of complaints, then process of requests. Now, what is etiquette? That is one word that has been overused by almost a cliche. It reminds me of my beloved mother, who had some standard education, and anytime I did behave, it was a you of my Michael West dictionary, I don't know whoever used that there. Michael West was what we use in our days, very limited, concise dictionary which you put in your school bag, and I went to look at the word. Not only that, I learned how to pronounce it and what it means. So it has always been with me. But what is etiquette? Etiquette is a customary code. Etiquette is a set of norms. Underlying objective of etiquette is respect. Yes, but impoliteness is not accepted under any circumstance. Now, what is protocol? Because you always hear, oh, protocol and etiquette. What is, like silent streets. We told what protocol is the fine art of facilitating events, but I just wanted to refresh your memory. So when I do the comparison, you can deal with me. So, protocol is a code of conduct. It consists of well, it shows that content are observed. Protocol is instruction to the environment. Protocol contains the behavior of governments. Underline that. Now, next slide. What is the difference between etiquette? Etiquette and protocol is a set of rules, conventions, and norms. Similarity. They differ in terms of their sphere of influence and nature of the rules. Yes? Next. Definition of protocol and etiquette. Go on. Etiquette refers to customary code of social behavior. Okay? And behavior governing diplomacy or government action. That's the difference. One relates to social, the other relates to official. That's all. Now, yes, then let's talk about these gay dressed people, almost an approved concept, an usher. Please, a man can be an usher. This has not got anything to do with the LGBT. What is an usher? An usher is somebody that takes a guest, okay, or a customer to their seats. Like when you go to the cinemas, maybe you see male ushers there. It was like my naive self. When a classmate after we left secondary school, he went and I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "He's reading nursing." I said, "Are you well?" A male reading nursing. How? But then it was strange to see a male reading nursing. It was a female-dominated center thing. Or the one that told me that he was in catering school. I thought that was completely stupid. But when you go to the top restaurant, who are the main chefs? So a man can be, when you go to churches mainly, the ushers that you see are male. So I'm just introducing that. Okay, definition. Now, the usher's job is somebody that helps to show a guest to their seat, assist them, for little requirements, as to showing them in the right direction to conveniences. Exit, route, in case of emergency, there's a fire, it's actually the job of the usher to actually lead people out quietly and orderly in order to avoid any stampede. And then they help to distribute programs and so many if they need to be at an event. And usually they wear a uniform. They wear a uniform not to show their own personal endowment. They wear a uniform for the benefit of the invited guests so that they are easily distinguishable and you can identify them to ask for assistance. Now, not the type you see now where they are competing with hairdo. One has green, the other is purple, the other is red. Anyway, such ushers will never serve under me. It's a pretty thing. And then you see them wearing 6 inches. People wearing flat shoes can easily get an ankle sprain. Let alone you, who is doing like an agile, wearing this thing up. And if you have a sprained ankle, you have no use. You have -1. So anything after spending and everything, it has to be flat shoe. Okay? It has to be flat shoe. Your makeup must be very modest. You are not trying to take God's role by recreation. God has already created, so leave that aside. Okay? So you don't appear as if you are going to a circus or to what we call a costume party. All right? So they should have good measure of education so that they can communicate. There should be assurance and distinct from self-importance. That's it. There's a very thin line between self-confidence and arrogance. It depends on how you deploy it. Those who have suitable training, I like to help them. Reasonable knowledge of the event. They ask you, "Oh, sorry, what is it about?" I don't know. They only asked me to come yesterday. No. Even if they ask you to come only yesterday, they should give you some information before the event. Okay? And then they should be familiar with it. Where is the community? Ask that man. They don't ask that man, you must know where it is and be able to point them in that direction. Yes, please. Quality of a good usher, they should be courteous. Not very rude people. Okay? Courteous and polite. Willing to serve. Some ushers will come there and the way they go around as if they're doing a favor. They tighten their faces, they frown, as if, you've been there, you just an inconvenience. They must be patient, modesty, reputation, fit person, and conduct. They must be amiable, good sense of proportion, and then integrity. You do not serve in a sector and start developing which it's not allowed. Okay? Or handbags go missing. Good. Integral footballer. Next. Extend gospel, still get other programs and attend requests. Yes, father what? They must be pattern of good manners, no cavalier attitude of guarding person, public or business function and sober events. Attention is to the event and not to themselves. Living guests with good feeling. Yes? Now let's go now. This for protocol officers. In the rules of etiquette, what you so. Decent dressing, comportment, decorum, satisfactory performance, and above all, loyalty. I thank you.
I think Ambassador Akin Oyatelu deserves a better round of applause. He's done justice to the topic of the day. Distinguished participants, before we go into the discussion, we'll take 2 questions from the audience. If you have a question, signify by a raise of hand, and you use the microphone in front of you. While waiting, please. Okay, we have 1 person, that's number 1. We'll take 1 more to make it 2. Gender balance, where are the females? We have number 2. Okay, number 1. No, number 1. Tell us your name and your MBA.
Okay. It's not in the book.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for doing our justice for the topic of today. My name is Olasco. I'm from the Information and Publication Unit with a couple of years since I was Federation. Sir, in the course of your lecture, you said when the president is visiting a state within his country, that the president comes first, and then the host governor comes second, being the host governor. What about if the president is visiting that state alongside with the vice president?
Well, hardly would it ever happen. Okay, but even if it does, the government is still number 2. Thank you.
Was the other person?
My name is Dr. Comfort Tabiashun. I'm from the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. Thank you very much for the presentation and actually for taking us down the historical lines and coming to this conclusion. I have a question. Why is it that sometimes protocol officers, not all of them, but sometimes they look down on other people apart from their principals?
What sense of importance?
So, and sometimes, from what you have taught us now, I expect that we will begin to see a change. Some protocol officers, they are just concerned about their boss, and they can put down another person's boss. And like you said, they're supposed to work together in synergy. Yes. We need to have this done because it is not affecting the civil service environment where we are losing this respect. You have to tell the person, no, this is this, this is this. But from what you have taught us, I think we need to do more about this. You can't put down another person's boss, and then we have to say, no, my head of service is coming. And I have to start telling them, no, I'm from my boss, I'm from Senate, this thing. But head of service is coming, and I want you to please give the respect due to that office. Then we are appealing to that protocol officer to respect the head of service of the Federation.
Okay. Any protocol officer that looks down on other senior officers, the purpose of this thing is only putting a bit in themselves. Because when issues come to head, we are just a small fry. They will sort themselves out at the top and you will drop on below. In foreign service, usually the chief of protocol is a director. And he would not for his life or his own to try to disregard senior ambassadors okay, let alone the farm set for the minister. There's a way, you know, you are trained where you can accommodate. It's like the sky. It can accommodate all without causing friction. That's why I named all those attributes: knowledge, versatility, you know, good sense, patience. So if you imbibe all those things, you will not find yourself there. The second one that you said is that that's where the order of precedence comes in. If you go to state functions, you find that they give time of arrival for various categories of officials. The rule is that once the guest of honor come in, be it the president, be it the vice president, be it the minister, everybody has no other protocol will observe after that. It's like when the president has finished his closing remarks, nothing except as an emergency where you have to tell people, please, there's fire, there's a run. I just chatted with my colleague here. On the issue of states, he told me what about political rally? And I said, yes. Political rally will not be treated as a state visit, it's a general party thing. And you find that even the party chairman, okay, has precedence above governors and everything. The only person they will give that respect is the president as the leader, okay, of the party. So even if the rally is hosted in your state, the president is not specifically visiting your state. It's actually a party thing going, and I think then the other presidents will be followed. If the president and the vice president are the same place of such a political, of course, he will be, but you can expand more on that. That's your talk.
So, I think when the president visits the state, for example, state visit and political visit. I think visit the state of political rally. The protocol is sacrosanct. So that's how the other.
Yeah, no, we don't order president before you get it. And I told him, that I said, exceptional cases. Listen, I don't know whether the practice is still on, but I know during the President Obasanjo's time it was on, where he was visiting each state of the federation, especially until he completed the 36. Those are special visits. That's why I say when it comes to political rally, the only hosting it in that state, he is not going on a special visit to the state. So the protocol, the national order of precedence will agree with you, that will be the use. But you will hardly find the vice president and the president, for instance. Okay? When the president is paying a special visit to the state, both of them on that trip. I've never seen, I've not witnessed that. So that is the distinction I'm making. But for the other visits, it doesn't matter whether they are going for a football, to open a football fiesta, a national sports fiesta, and the rest of them. That is the only distinction. And even that distinction is mentioned in the Acts. Okay, if you look at the Acts, that distinction allows it for it. Thank you.
Yeah, if you have just an input of the former chief of protocol, sir. If just a minute, please.
Your Excellency, my name is Ambassador Bello Hussein Kazawi. I'm the former chief of protocol in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
You want to roast me in public? Go on.
Yeah. Now Director of Administration 3. Your Excellency, I just want to make a small comment for the benefit of all of us, especially other ministries. At protocol, you mentioned it during your presentation that the protocol is the custodian of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I want you to shed more light on it, because when we are out there in the field, we compete with other ministries, protocol officers. Is one. You talk about you also make that there is a common officers in the security agencies, which is quite true. I'm a living witness. In so many occasions, I have solved the issues. You, as our guest, a protocol group, shed more light on these two issues. Let protocol officers know that foreign affairs is a custodian protocol in the preparation country. That's the conflict or competition with the protocol officers and the security agencies. We should look into it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all right. When I say custodian, they are custodian by the virtue of the Diplomatic Convention of 1961. It's not something that we assign ourselves. It's an international global best practice. Now, why are they the custodian of protocol? In the years of yore, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and External Affairs, that was known then, had what they call a protocol handbook. Okay, shared among all the entities. I know that an attempt was equally made in 2018 to have a protocol handbook for the whole civil service. It's not a matter of superiority or competition. It's a matter of where does knowledge reside. On protocol matters, knowledge resides here. When we were young protocol officers, service, if any governor, any government, or any minister was going to receive an ambassador, first of all, the ambassador will write to the foreign office. Then the foreign office will funnel the letter to the recipient. Then, if the answer is yes, they went back to the foreign ministry asking for advice on how they should be hosted. And not a few times, the foreign office will send either the desk officer of that country or the desk officer of the subject matter to accompany the diplomat, even if he's out of station there. And before then, he will then advise the governor, the minister, or the Senate president what are the steps to take. And that's why you find that foreign affairs has been seconding officers to serve as, the various MPs. I was the chief of protocol when the head of service in 2007 wrote an official letter asking the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to assist in creating a protocol unit at the head of service. And we were blushed. And up for a while, it was always headed by a foreign service officer. So it is just, knowledgeable that is done. So it's not a matter of pride, it's not a matter of superiority, because this is where the knowledge resides. When I was chief of protocol, equally, there is a tradition that when there's a change of new administration is coming in, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is invited to come and run an induction, okay, for the new administration officials, including their spouses. And I remember that in 2007, we only ran one 3-day seminar for the First Lady and the spouses of the governors. So we do all that. And after that, we had requests where we were asked to come and train protocol officers in various units. I remember going to Calabar, I remember going to Uyo, and one other state. Then, we then ran in 2007 too, the fourth national workshop for training of protocol officers, where protocol officers all over the federation and including states were invited to participate at a reasonable cost. We ran it in Ariwa House then. It was a whole, I think about 4 days. And they went through the whole gamut. We had facilitators, we had the source persons. So it's because the knowledge resides here. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs does not mind sharing it so that we can engender best global practices. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Akin. Distinguished participants, just to let you know that there's a full module on conflict resolution. If you're not able to ask your question now, kindly put your thoughts on paper and pass it across to the ushers because of want of time. Thank you very much. I'll now invite the panel of discussants to the high table. But let me quickly invite the resource person, Ambassador Akin Oyateru. Please take the seat. Please let's give him a warm welcome. So I'd like to invite our first panelist, who is also a resource person. He's a French graduate who has served in different capacities at home and abroad. He was a deputy chief protocol in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Director East and Central African Division. He was also Director Region Departments and Chief of Protocol in 2011. He was appointed Ambassador and State Chief of Protocol to President Goodluck Jonathan between 2011 and 2013 before his retirement. Please join me as I welcome Ambassador Olutola John Nijama. I'd also like to welcome our permanent secretary in the office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation. She's the permanent secretary, Career Management Office, Mrs. Fatima Mahmoud. Please let's give her a warm welcome. Also to join the panelists on the high table is a retired career ambassador of Nigeria. She has worked in State Protocol, State House, Lagos, 1982 to 1983. Chief of Protocol, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 2010 to 2012. She was appointed Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2012 and served in several countries during the course of her diplomatic career. She retired in 2016 after 35 years of meritorious service. Please make welcome Ambassador Martin Sheila Jeren. Jeren, please. Apologies, please. Please, let's be the applause for me. I'd also like to welcome a one-time permanent secretary, Career Management Office in the office of the head of the Civil Service of the Federation. He retired as a federal permanent secretary from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and was Nigerian ambassador to Ethiopia and permanent representative to the African Union. Please make welcome Ambassador Bulu. There, Dodo. I'd also like to invite Ambassador Zana. Yes, Director 2, Office of the Honorable Minister, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ambassador Zana is a career diplomat who has consistently demonstrated a keen understanding of global diplomacy and a deep-seated dedication to public service. He is a director in the Office of the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs. Please let's give him a warm welcome. Now, I'll be bringing up on stage the former Minister of the Ministry of Information and National Orientation and the former Deputy Governor of Nasarawa State, His Excellency, Mr. Labaran Maku, CON. You're welcome, sir. So the next person to join the panelist is the panel moderator. That's Ambassador Ben PM Okoye. Ambassador Ben is an Oxford University trained diplomat, a certified corporate etiquette and international protocol specialist of Protocol School of Washington, D.C., a certified public administrator with several years of practical experience in the field of protocol and diplomacy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome the panel moderator.
Thank you very much, MC. And let me especially thank the panelists for accepting to be here today. This is a very important program for the Office of the Head of Service and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We are right now in the panel discussion. Let me remind us about the theme of this training program: professionalism in protocol, elevating standards in effective service delivery. So I will ask the first set of questions, and that will be directed at everyone. So I will take it up from the last row, Ambassador Ibrahim Zana. The first question will be, why do you think professionalism protocol is critical to effective service? Protocol. Why?
Thank you very much. Very pleased here today. I think for us to just would take into the person that asks why. For us to now understand why, we need to know what is protocol. We have been told that earlier. It's about orderliness and set of rules. It's a means to achieve something. So for us, for effective service delivery, protocol is very critical in every aspect of every organization. One, we as civil servants, because we are the way of the government in service, and protocol should help us to ensure that things are done in proper manner. When we also sense that the political leadership is that our job as civil servants are the ones that are to arrange for them to also have the perfect system to work. Let me give an example of this event. The Arab protocol officers are sat down, three of the program, the timing, the setting of the game, arranging who and who to be there. So if protocol is not done right, whatever we aim to achieve there will not also be done. With the sense that we will not have time to complete the program. So every aspect, it's not just about my senior colleague mentioned about back carry, running the front of a face bar. It's a professional thing. So, and it's very critical in every aspect. I will not talk, know that I also have some senior police people, since the person is going to be given to everybody to allow for work. But it's very, very critical and essential in service community. Because we are the ones that I use we because we are all protocol officers. We are the ones that ensure create an opening environment for things to function, particularly meetings. Meetings are where very serious things are done. And protocol is one that arranges it. For us in the diplomatic service, it's where nation sits. So we sit down and make sure that from every when visitors are coming, where they're going to stay, the conduct of the meeting, how to conduct sitting arrangement, time, moving them please, emergencies, all what to get of everything. That makes it a traveling about it. That's why protocol is a professional job. So I would not go for the but I will also add on to what I said. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The question is personality. Yes, protocol is important. Then taking it a bit further, we are talking about paying attention to professionalizing protocol in our daily life, in our country. Why is it important? Ambassador Martin. Oh, yeah. Conversation of protocol is important for travel.
The organizers for this. You see, with anything you do, you must have some form of training to be able to execute your brief or whatever you are asked to do. And as civil servants and protocol officers that are assigned to a very important things, I expect that even without this kind of formal training, you would self-develop yourself so that you can excel in the execution of your work. Without being very, I don't know what to say. I've been in protocol since I started my career in the civil service in 1982. In fact, from my NYC days in 1981 till date, I'm in the protocol business. And that is why many of you might have seen my face in a lot of programs and projects in government is administrative. So I want to emphasize on training. Don't wait until the government says or sponsors you for a training program in protocol. The web is so large. You now have instruments, applications that will help you to learn on the job. You see, here in Nigeria, protocol is quite a very different, has a different meaning. For example, if I'm not going too far, this problem of I stand on the already established protocols is a new norm completely in protocol. But you see, from my own research, I found out that one dictionary has even adopted some Nigerian usage of words like severally. I never knew about severally before. I used to say several times I've called you, but now I've called you severally. And it's now been accepted to be used in a dictionary. So this I stand on existing protocol. If you go to international conferences of late, even outside the country, diplomatic, they will now say, as they say in Nigeria, I stand on the existing. Don't be surprised. We will be the first people to change the narrative. And actually, I don't say anything wrong in it. Instead of calling all the people on the president, national order of president, we just call the principal and stand on the protocol already established. So this is my little contribution on this payment project of the
Thank you very much. Next is Honorable Sabaramato. You have used the services of protocol several times as minister, deputy governor. Tell us your experience in terms of what it should be. Is this something that we need to have? We need to develop as a career. Why professionalism in protocol is important?
Thank you very much for this participants. Both as a politician, I want to emphasize that in politics, we come in with a lot of ideas. Politics as appointed or elected, they come with dreams, they come with nothing. They come with projects and promises. These are raw ideas. These are dreams and directions as leaders should do. The leader is a dream. The leader does not have the detail of how that policy factored into to be cooked into, ready services for the legal citizens. It is professional in the system. When you come in with your dreams, you not sit down and they become you lay your plan to them. What you want to do, where you want to take your ministry, where you want to take your program to, and you lay out the parameters. Of course, the program of your boss, maybe it's president or government, will be available to you. And maybe the party in power has certain specific direction they want to take the country to. So you come to direct the service to deliver on that program. The politician does not have is not an engineer. The politician is not a protocol officer. The politician is not a leader or security man. So the service is provided to be able to bring ideas, run programs, run dreams of leaders to practical, implementable policy and deliver to the people. And in doing this, as a politician, I discovered there's nothing really you can do without setting up meetings, setting up programs, events where you can reach people, where you can get the society to follow on your program. And in doing this, the protocol officer is uniquely placed. There's hardly anything a political officer will achieve without a proper, coherent, well-trained protocol officer and the team of civil servants around him or her that will be able to lay out that program you wanted to do. For example, maybe when I came into the ministry as a minister of information, there are so many things I brought on board. Now I have to go and look for people that are the directors in specific departments that will be able to drive those events. But when it comes to organization of programs, organization of meetings, and that mostly what happens is public. That's mostly happens public. So you need confident protocol officers that will be able to organize events for you. Particularly organizing events, organizing visitations, organizing program activities at different theaters. You need protocol officers. Protocol officers that are very confident and learning. Let's come to the problem that are learning, not just learning in your field of protocol. The protocol officer should be broadly educated, highly professional, and highly confident. What I discovered in service is that if the protocol officer is not confident, he will not be able to manage political officers. Political officers with a lot of conflicts of interest and ideas and role of activity. You want to do everything at the same time. It's not possible to do everything at the same time. Your protocol officer to tell you that you can't deliver on all this. This one at a time, and on this event, this is what This is how we should organize and how to go about it. The problem we will have if you don't have a professional protocol officer, that most of the time you will get best states. Sometimes lack of confidence, when they remind you once, they are afraid of coming back to tell you, you'll be offended. You know, but the protocol officer should be able to tell you straight to your face and say, no, God, we can't go late. This is the time to go for this event. And insist on it. You may not be happy at that time you are being told, but politicians must be managed. We are managed by people in the system. We must have people to manage us. If we are managing the system, but also being managed by protocol officers, by security people, by professionals in different theaters, but directly your way. It is the capacity of those officers, particularly protocol officers, to line up with you, to coordinate with you, and to put you through so that those dreams will not remain in your head, but will be properly delivered. So you need that level of professionalism in the community. And one thing I noticed, although this other conversation will be coming with, is that you know, politicians are very difficult to manage. Very, very difficult. I'm saying that from experience. And so a lot of the time, the protocol officer at the receiving end, you know, you organize a meeting, they call you in the village to go and do something else, the people are with him, and you come back, some other thing, take you to some other place, and before you know it, the relationship has come back. The protocol officer should be able to manage those people who come and speak to them in such a way that they will not be offended. And these are all the issues, and a lot of other issues will come up. Governance is likely also public relating to people, getting people to work very well, getting things delivered. And I told you, due process, without due process, which is what protocol is all about, we can't deliver any program. Let me stop there and hear what other.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for that answer. Next will be for the permanent secretary from the Career Management Office. Let me add again that how can government institutions support the development of journalism in protocol? Several questions are being asked. So,
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. So just add a little something to the earlier question, is that the issue of protocol is about representation. You organize different functions and you have but one opportunity to make a good impression. So if you don't organize it properly according to best practices, which were being told in this room by the earlier speaker, that the repository of knowledge on protocol is in the MFA, which is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So if you don't have the knowledge and make it a professional thing, then we'll continue making gaps. Nigeria a bad image, whether it is or God give government or any other way. Therein lies the importance of professionalism of protocol. Okay? You have but one opportunity to make a good impression, and it might just be that. And you need professionals to handle things properly. Now, about how we can strengthen professionalism in protocol, that's the question. Now, one of the foremost thing to do in strengthening professionalism is what we're doing today. And I'll give you a background on why the head of the civil service of the Federation, Mr. PPS, was in MNR. We were at several occasions on different events, and it was so glaring that we need to upgrade things are changing daily in Nigeria and in the world, and we need to keep updating ourselves. Continuous learning is the way to go. And in line with our Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan, which the first pillar, it has 6 pillars, and the first one is capability building and talent management. Now, you cannot build capacity or capability of the institution without continuous training. So this is the first and major, and this is why we're here today. This is the first support that the Federal Civil Service can give to its officers to make sure that we're delivering service as it should be. Okay? Then we can develop a comprehensive protocol guide. I know that the the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has a protocol handbook. It has been mentioned in this one. So it is something we can be updating. We've heard that things are changing. We know they are changing, so we can update to make sure that our officers in the protocol unit and those doing functions, carrying out functions related to that, know what they should be doing. And that is one of the things, and training is the way to go. That protocol guide is another. Then you can also look at digital tools. It might interest you to know that the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, the office, we've launched an online academy that everything civil servants need will be put on that portal. Wherever you are, you can take responsibility for your own self-development. And he has mentioned it earlier. Don't wait for anybody to do that. What you learn is yours and yours to keep, and it makes you relevant wherever you go. The more competent you are, the more people will seek you out to work with you and will enjoy working with you. So that is another point. Then we encourage cross collaboration between those that perform functions, and we've heard that the protocol person is the head of that team that support the VIP to do what they need to do as representatives of government. Okay? So there needs to be encouragement for collaboration between those key personnel that work with. So these are a few ways that we can encourage them. There can be a recognition system. One of the pillars in the FPIC 25 is rewards and recognition. This is one of the sub-initiatives under Pillar 6, which is the service welfare or value proposition for our manpower. You understand? So if you can recognize
On the same question.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ambassador Ben, and good morning, everyone. First, let me say I wear 3 hats. Yes, because you're not wearing glasses. Number 1, I was a Foreign Service officer before my retirement. Number 2, I was privileged to be Permanent Secretary, Career Management in the Office of the Head of Service. And the one that I cherish is that I'm retired. But on a serious note, first let me commend the Head of Service and the Ministry for putting together this training. And if I put on my 2 hats of being Foreign Service Officer, Permanent Secretary before my retirement, I thought this room would be filled to capacity. Because a program of this nature is long overdue. 3 weeks ago, I was in Owerri, and I had reason to say what has happened to protocol in Nigeria. I traveled in the company of General Yakubu Gowon and 5 traditional rulers from Gombe State. After we got to Owerri Airport, we spent more than 40 minutes, and the simple reason was that no arrangement was made for the movement of the guests who traveled. And that was an area where I said, oh, protocol has died. Then number 2, the state government was very generous, provided buses, but you could not tell which one was your bus. Again, because there was a lack in protocol. Now, what am I talking about? If you professionalize protocol, you are bringing a code of practice into being. If you professionalize protocol, you are promoting effectiveness. If you professionalize protocol, you are ensuring synergy and order. Absent these, and I like what the former minister said about getting things done. You are talking about renewed hope agenda. That renewed hope agenda can sound as a platitude unless you turn words into action. And when you turn words into action, you are looking for results. You are looking for impact. Protocol helps to achieve all of that. Now, I believe it's necessary, man, to make it compulsory for training and induction on protocol, so that at any given time, whether you work as a protocol officer or not, you will know the rudiments, the basic essentials, and your duty both as a principal or an officer serving a principal. Once you know protocol, you respect it. And I'm happy that again, a practitioner in our midst, Mr. Makwi, has talked about the conduct of politicians. The expression standing on existing protocols was invented here in Nigeria, but for a reason. When you go to a public function, you can take up to 10 minutes doing nothing but going through your protocol list, and you are given 3 minutes to talk. So 10 minutes of protocol, when are you going to make your formal intervention? But when you observe protocol, you shorten things. In advanced countries, you don't go, and let me start with the United States of America. You will never hear any American president as excellency. They don't use that. They don't use executive governor. They simply go Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Vice President, and that's it. And then, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, but God bless you if you happen to go to the Senate, you don't recognize the Senate President, the Deputy Senate President, Senate Leader, Chief Whip, Deputy Whip, and by the time you are done, you've taken all the time. So please take this training as very, very, very important. My last word, because I know we'll go into a panel discussion. Whatever experience you gain through practice, through participation, through training, remains with you, and it is your personal property. No one will take it away from you. So remember that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next. Ambassador Ojala, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I think former Minister Labaran has done 50% justice to this question of mine. Fortunately, I'm also a politician now. So I'm wearing two caps, a career diplomat and a politician. And there is a hell lot of difference between diplomatic protocol and political protocol, which is highlighted. And I'm going to give you examples of personal experiences. Protocol, as it is today, is what we can discuss for the next 1 week, and we won't be tired because it's very elastic. I think choosing a protocol officer in the MPH should be very thorough. It should be very thorough, not just anybody. In the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they are very careful in choosing who the chief of protocol is and who the deputy chief of protocol is. I was at one time deputy chief of protocol, at another time chief of protocol, until I became state chief of protocol. I think one of the problems of protocol is the protocol officer himself, the personality of the protocol officer. My colleague has done a good job by saying that some protocol officers see themselves as errand boys or sycophants or people to gossip for the minister or for the permanent secretary. So they lack courage, they lack boldness, they lack initiative. You know, in my culture, we say that the way you dress is the way you are addressed, isn't it? And that's why in foreign affairs, they do pay, I don't know whether they still do it, they give us a clothing allowance. The way you appear will even diminish your principal if you're not properly dressed. And go to many of these ministries, their protocol officers don't give cognizance to this. The way you dress is very, very important. The way you must have a command of languages, not just English. It's a plus for you if you speak other languages. You enhance the status of your principal. You must have initiative. I remember when I was just the second secretary in an embassy in Rome, Italy. 3 members of the Armed Forces Ruling Council paid a visit to the embassy. And my ambassador was a military officer too, though retired, a commodore. And these 3 members of the Armed Forces Ruling Council came, were colonels. And you know the military hierarchy, a commodore takes precedence over a colonel. So when they went to his office to a courtesy cough, they saluted him and he was just like, you know, commodore, you know. He didn't even ask them to sit down. And I felt that this ambassador is getting it wrong. Yes, you are ambassador, but these people are members of the Armed Forces Ruling Council. Where they're going to discuss you won't be there. So they greeted him and they took their leave. On our way to the airport, I told the driver to branch at a Chinese restaurant. And the 3 of them, one came with his wife, and all of us, we had lunch in the restaurant. And one of them was asking the wife, do you have enough money? I said, no, you don't need to pay. The ambassador is going to pay. The ambassador said, I should give you lunch. It was to be at the foreign ministry. He ought to have taken you to the residence to give you lunch. But he asked me to take you to a good restaurant, give you lunch, and thank you for the visit. And he said, oh, and the ambassador on our behalf, that's very kind of him. My ambassador didn't think of it all. It wasn't my ambassador's initiative. So the manager of the restaurant asked me if I was going to pick the bill or if we send it to the embassy. I said, no, send it to the embassy. So when I came back from the airport, I went to the ambassador. I said, Your Excellency, you ought to have given these people lunch at the residence. They are very powerful people. When they will discuss you, you won't be there. Although I know you are senior to them. So I took them to the restaurant and gave them lunch. It doesn't feel like this. Oh my God. Do you know that's why I like you? You have initiative. You have initiative. This is what we should do to your principal. If you have initiative that will make him or her look pleasant to the outside world. And the very nature of our society compounds the problems for protocol officers. And I'll give you examples. I'm sure you watch foreign televisions. When Putin is coming out to address an audience, the whole length of the red carpet, nobody steps on it. He is the only one, isn't it? It takes that long walk, full of confidence. Nobody follows him. No ADC, no chief of security, no chief of protocol. Alone on that red carpet. And the cameras will click on it. That gives him comfort on him, his glory. That is his space. But the very nature of our society, we love being on television with the president. There was a day I told this secretary to the government of the federation, the head of service, and the chief of staff. We were at the waiting room. I said, gentlemen, please go and take your seat before I call the president to enter. And the three of them looked at me and said, Scope, don't you know that we are palace chiefs? I said, yes, I know, but please go and take your seat before I call the president. I stood my ground. If you're not bold, you will be intimidated. SGF, HOS, chief of staff, I stood my ground. I said, yes, I know, but with due respect, go and take your seats before I call the president. So the three of them were going and they turned, they said, Scope, you are the one asking us to go and sit down, no? I said, yes, please just go and sit down. The first lady was, SGF, where are you going? He said, Scope asked us to go and sit down. When the president enters in Nigeria, he comes with a battery of followers. That takes the shine off him. Yes. You won't know who is president. I mean, all of them will enter at the same time. So I stopped it. They didn't like it, but I stopped it. I stood my ground. I said, no, you don't share the space with the president. You don't share the limelight with him. And there was a time the former heads of state were dinner with us at the banquet hall. And it was time for the president to enter. And I said to him, Your Excellency, I will want you to go in one by one. I told the MC, as soon as the number one, as one enters, he will say, now I announce the arrival of General Abdul Salami, isn't it? You should go one by one according to your seniority. So the first one went, and the MC announced. I announced the arrival of, so everybody clapped for him, and was the only one on that carpet, and he took his seat. Number two, at the point, the next person looked, so General Gawan, so he felt hesitant. So how can I go in when General Gawan? He was intimidated. It was General Obasanjo. So my principal said, oh, no, let us all go in. I said, no, Your Excellency, with due respect. Let us go in one by one. I stood my ground. It was General Obasanjo who bailed me out. He said, go, it's according to seniority. So the man entered, and that's it. And when it was time to call Obasanjo. When the MC said, I announced the arrival of former President Olusegun Okikiolu Aremu Obasanjo, I mean, the roof was almost with that ovation. They all took glory, isn't it? They didn't share the space with my principal. If I was scout, I would have thought, okay, all of you go in. But that would have taken the line that they shine off my principal. If a protocol officer must be that bold, must be courageous. Don't look at yourself and say, if they sack you and so on, that's not the end of the world. And I escaped being sacked so many times in the villa. And I will give you an example. There was a dinner for a foreign dignitary, a foreign president. And the chairman of the party wanted to sit on the same table with the president. I said, no, you cannot, this is not a political dinner. This is an official dinner. So when we entered, everybody entered, it was going to be national anthem. They struck the national anthem and everybody sat down because there were name tags. So the chairman of the party was standing because he had no seat. He was not supposed to be on that table with the president. When we finished the dinner and we got to the residence, the president called me and said, Scope, I wish I was a dictator like Gaddafi. I said, Your Excellency, why? He said that I will have banished you from this villa for 1 month. What did I do, sir? You saw how you maltreated my chairman. I said, sir, your chairman had no business on that table. I stood my ground. He said, oh, I should send you for training for 1 year. I said, training? So I was there teaching of protocol. I was chief of protocol, and I'm now scope. What training? What training again, sir? That is the quality, one of the qualities of a protocol officer. Don't look at yourself as a messenger or an errand boy. And see, in fact, I had so many clashes with this chairman of the party. Every time I wanted to board the plane, there is red carpets where the president would take. And as chairman of that party, you want to use the red carpet, I would say, no, please, go to the back. Use the back door. He says, oh, you are the one who want to spoil my door as chairman or I don't know, sir. I don't want to spoil it, but this is protocol. I was not afraid because it is my profession. I'm a professional. So when you say you are the protocol officer to the head of service, you must know your onions. You must be good looking. My friend has said it all. You must be presentable. Even when the woman sees you, the head of service, when he sees you, she will respect you. But when you go run after her, she's going to the toilet, you are running after her. Oh, HOS is going to the toilet. She's calling me. HOS is going to the market. She's going to. She will beat you on the long run. You must be bold. And then, I don't know. Nigeria is the most difficult place to organize any official dinner, any official function. It is so rowdy. Somebody will get up, we want to go and greet the president. Somebody will get up, want to go and see Minister Labaran. Labaran will get up, want to go and see SGF. Everywhere is rowdy. It's not, isn't it? In other clients, want to do the cocktail outside, and you enter and you see, you don't get up. So this is very, it makes it difficult for we protocol officers operating in this client. Because our people, they love this thing, NT is carrying it live, or AIT. They want their wives to see them at home, they're talking to the president, or and so on and so forth. And I think I will go front up. I think that the protocol officer, I don't know whether if you don't have information, you cannot perform. For example, the minister calls you and says, oh, I'm going to Yola. I didn't tell you yesterday. He didn't tell you 2 days ago. And he says, my flight is at 2 o'clock. What protocol will you arrange? You don't have the information. The person also should try and provide adequate information, timely information for the protocol. I think I should stop here until later. Thank you.
I think you can agree with me that we have brought the best for you,
Yes.
and more is coming. Next is our erudite lecturer. I don't want to limit you on these questions because when you finish your lecture, there are several people willing to ask one question or the other. So I've had a written question for you before you. But again, why do we have to professionalize protocol service in Nigeria?
One, why you need to professionalize it is to avoid errors. Secondly, is to mitigate potential embarrassment. Third is to ensure good service delivery. I like when Tola was speaking about having the courage of his conviction, and I can attest to that. Both of us were in the same boat when President Jonathan visited London in 2012. I was based in London, he was coming on. When you are only, your own was only the chairman of the party. I had about 5 people waiting to execute me because I didn't include their name to go to the down the street. We are a very hard lot. What is what important? Government told us it was going to be poor. So it was my lot that advised my head of division about how we go about it. You see, in foreign service, when you write, you don't just carry information. You carry that information and put your own advice, okay, or your comment or your perspective, in order to enable your principal to take a balanced and informed decision. It's not only to recall, they are doing an example. If you want them to be useful, you must have recommendations or suggestions. And your principal can decide. The decision lies with them. So we said, well, as far as we're concerned, is actually 1 plus 2. Because the foreign minister was there, that is statutory, is conventional. The head of mission. So Villa can only choose 2 more. I will know that way, and the foreign ministry conveyed it to the Villa. And the Villa gave us the 2 names. My good friend here, who was the school, you understand, was not going to go inside. I mean, and that should be the person present, but that is the way it was arranged. You had people follow the president, and those things, and that, all of them were there. The British government has told us, let us know the cars you are bringing. Okay. So I said, okay. So I said, you are going to put me before the president. I said, why? I said, who's going to render this report? Because none of the big men are going to write a report, and they will demand a report from me as the head of Alatra. So I said, make it 1 + 4 + 1. The last one being the note taker. Okay? So they made it that. But what's the point? This Nigerian eye service thing, they came in, oh, let's go. I told Tola, he cannot leave. So everybody to wait including my foreign minister and every other person. So my commissioner was there. I said, you can't go anywhere, sir. He said, why? I said, just hold that one. I went and accepted this. He said, on the top. I said, why is that? But the authorities will let me go. Yeah. So the president was talking to myself, and my very disgruntled head commissioner, who said, we are going to be late. It was like, this is like, okay, let it happen. It will be your career. We were both required. So the president had to finally go back. Sad. It was one of the longest waits. It was longer than his watch. Minutes. Give it 3 minutes. It said, proceed in 2 minutes. So we then told the president, let's go down. We went down. This is where has been identified and everything. As soon as we enter the rest of them, all the other Nigerians have lined up. You know, I don't know how they did it. As soon as those two cars zoomed up, the road was closed. Not every other person. What we call a slow route. Usually would have gone in front of the Buckingham Palace and go to Parliament Square. They now had to go back and go through the guards. And we had to go through Westminster, Parliament Square. At a steady pace. As soon as the big game was striking 5, we were in front of President Downing, and David Cameron was opening the door. And we were able to achieve that because both of us had the courage of our company. I said, no, Mr. President. The president, came back, he was happy, other people were eyeing all and everything, all manners of. The problem myself couldn't be bothered. I don't have a problem now. Not that he requested to see him. He was the one that requested. And I it's not less. You cannot. Now, saying is that protocol can be supplied. It's like going to organize something at a restaurant in Woodson, highest level. And it's the same you who will have to handle this. They're not going to report another person because they want to say Charles. It's the same you. It's a job you do at home that you must do abroad. So, know the right thing to do and to have the courage of that. Before we went, if you remember, Tola, he had said, is the wife of the president going to be there? We said no. He said, so who said my wife should follow me? So, and the president finally said he was not going. Now we have a problem on our hand. How do you refuse the future king of England? I mean that you are not coming to see him. So we talked to our principal. They look at us like you are your own. So because the president went to 10 Downing Street and his visit was successful, both of us went again and said, Mr. President, there's this other matter was not resolved. We're giving you live examples. These are not stories. So that you know that this can happen in protocol. They said, yes, what is it now? So my wife was go with me and they said, yes. We said, this is a protocol here. This calendar is past 2 years ago. The thing does not take more than 2 visits in the UK. It takes about 3 years. Okay? So, this thing, if you reconnect your first visit, what was but the pictures of Cromwell has this is unofficial, saying what about what people must still be good questions. When am I going to be the frame? So what is the meaning of a frame? I say a frame is that angle of the camera that can take only just for me. So what do they do? That's what you are. And in many people make this mistake when they are given further possession, the wife should be on the left of the husband. Before they exchange vows, she is on the right. As soon as vows are exchanged, you know what you're doing, she goes to the left. That the chief will show you where to sit down. He said, oh, so can I tell you anything? I say, you may not, ma'am. Royal protocol is that you don't speak except he has spoken. Let boys, then a problem arose at the last one. He said, you know, this one I when they say they could do. My name will kill me. So I took that one. Even the last day I called him and I said, my lady has seen. And that's why friendly relations started. It was a last. Two gates between Claire's house and Lancaster. Our first day, it was and she had only about 110 meters to walk. So she was able to work without the delay, everything is achieved. Sorry for this digression. But the reason why we're giving you practical latitude is for you to know that things happen that you have not envisaged. Therefore, knowledge, like I was telling you, the qualities of a good officer, confidence as different from arrogance, you know, and the ability to be able to present your case are important. Now to the question asked here. This is from Mr. Matthew. Is it Amali? Is it Amali or Amali? Amen. Okay, the way you are, okay, Amen. Okay, Mr. Matthew, you're from Industry Trade and Investment. Your question is, what is the OHCSF doing in ensuring that political officers are in all NBA, are in the pool of NBA? Well, it's a good suggestion. NBA can be the incubator. When these protocol officers, like the Accountant General, does for accounts, and then they can be spread all over. I think it's workable. But Madam Pam said my wish to consider that idea of having NFA incubate protocol officers. The second one, that is it possible to create if that incubation starts, what time all might grow to be a header. Because then it will be professionalized, you will have your scheme of service and expectations. Then the other one is sitting arrangement. Sorry, I cannot dwell much on that, but to tell you that sitting arrangement follows the order of national president. It's a whole module on its own that can be taught on this thing. On the last note, is that there is an association called Association of Certified Protocol in Nigeria. I happen to be the chairman of the board of trustees, and we are getting that as association eventually is to start a school of protocol in Nigeria, following the European School of Protocol, the London School of Protocol. That is the first, is going to be certified at 3 levels. That the exams with it. And then, particularly. So there is such an association out there. Because protocol is not only needed, the public service, even the we are going to do protocol of 10 minutes and 25 minutes to round up. I know some people are tired. Our tea break is ready. Lunch is also approaching. Over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Arthur. Rightfully, as a field officer, like you said, I have one of my bosses, school, who I've worked with. I think most of the things have been said. Managing high level, let's assume at the level of the president. I've had the rare privilege of also having worked in state protocol with 3 administrations back to back. And just like my former boss, or who always be my boss, Scoop said, every administration and politics come with their own packages. So, first and foremost, the protocol officer at that level must be someone that will be very, very proactive. We already know how our high levels behave. So you anticipate those things, that they are likely to crowd the president, they are likely to say, no, I must sit here. So you must anticipate those things. And then secondly, when you're making arrangements at the event, let me give you a example. Like when we come ahead at the advanced team, president is coming to an event, it's going to take place at that place. So when you come there, try and simulate the thing. You don't just assume and bring your principal. Come there, look at it. What did they say in the program? If the program states that he's going to walk towards this place and come and sit, walk it. Simulate it and see whether yes, it's possible or not. How much time did they give on the program? The organizers of the program can just give a lot of times. So when you come to those places, you look at it, is it possible? Is it manageable? Then you draw their attention. Because you are the one that is supposed to now, your principal or your chief of protocol, if you are being sent ahead, is expecting you to feed him to ensure the thing goes. So as field officers, your job is to make sure and manage. So, and you can't do that without simulation. You must have plan A, B, C, and a backup. Always. What do we do? Quick thinking. A protocol officer must be quick. Every point in time, amendment, change. You must be able to be versatile. And above all, is right. You must go there early enough to be able to make the changes before the program starts. To be able to get the organizers to do it the way you think will best suit the event and your principal. Because more often than not, they use event planners. You understand? And those functions is being outsourced. They are more with the aesthetics and so on and so forth. You as a professional, we are more on ensuring that everything is done professionally. The seating arrangement and so on. The event planners will be more of aesthetics and so on. You will now have to come one to look at including safety. It's all on you as a protocol officer. Aisles, making the aisles free in cases of emergencies or when your principal is walking through. It's your job. You will have issues with media blocking the aisles. You will have to now make it in such a way that also allows your principal to work. These are practical things I'm just saying. But as field officers, these are the things you will be facing. And then, in terms of core in high level, the protocol officer, one, you must get to know the guest list. Initial, reach out to the organizers, know who and who even before you come, so that you will be able to manage the order, to brief your principals that this, and also draw up the protocol list for him. So you would need to, these are things, if there are either foreign dignitaries or ambassadors coming, you get to have all this information so that you know how to sit them. That is, if you are just a protocol officer bringing a principal. But if you're also a protocol officer of the organization, that is a different thing entirely also. That is where you will now have to also know how to do the sitting arrangement, how to accord each based on their status. Where are the holding rooms? How far is the holding room? How many minutes are they supposed to stay in the holding room? Will going to the holding room now delay the beginning of the event? All these things are things that you must go over and simulate. Because protocol is a practical thing. No matter how you sit down, the rudiments, yes, you get to know, but it's a practical thing. For you to succeed, you must simulate. Always. Like Marcino Felix said, if we're going to talk about this, we can spend a whole week talking about it. But it's a fantastic thing that we are having the opportunity to speak as protocol officers. There will be more of this training we have today, and tomorrow we'll talk more. So I always want to be brief. I don't want to talk. When I have seniors, I will now allow them to give the more experienced thing. You have the privilege, even on this table here, chief of protocol, but I'm maybe the youngest chief of protocol among them. In the audience, we also have a former chief of protocol, Kazori. So there's a lot of knowledge here that we can tap on. And I hope that there will be a session free back in the panels where the protocol officers will ask questions. Because it's all about trying to tap, it's not lecture, it's interactive. You will now ask questions based on difficult situations that you have been or you have experienced. Then with our experience here, we will now tell you how to navigate them. Because there is nothing that I think in protocol in this country that has happened that on this table, the senior officials here that have no handle. I don't think there's any. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll come back to our permanent secretary, Ambassador Lolo. Your final advice. Why we need to observe other approvals.
Well, this is almost an ambush, Ambassador Ben. First, in my opening, I alluded to one thing, and that is both the necessity and importance of having protocol. Since you are here, Madam Pham said, it would be a good idea to standardize the practice of protocol in Nigeria so that whether you go to a local government and you run into somebody who says he's protocol officer at an official function, or you are saying in Kaduna, which is my state, visiting the governor, and the protocol officer there 2 steps out, not to talk of Abuja, where my colleague here was state chief of protocol. The thing about protocol is that sometimes it shows you the good side of life, but other times you are exposed to the obvious side of it. Because, like Ambassador Ayatero talked about their experience in London, in 2015, you remember for 5 months we had no ministers. It was my difficult duty as Permanent Secretary Foreign Affairs, both to perform as Permanent Secretary and at the same time as Acting Minister. We went to New York with President Buhari. And the thing about our Nigerian culture is that to be sitting next to the president, like you have heard, is a big deal. The Americans calculate, in fact, they'll ask you how many steps you will walk from point A to point B. And they factor that into the timing they are providing. Why? Because their president is expected to take those number of steps to get from his seat to the lectern where he will speak, and from the lectern to shake hands with people. If you know and respect protocol, your life will be easier. Because it is about orderliness. It is about synchronization. You don't reinvent things. But for us here, and I'm sorry to say it, you invite a person to a function, right? I overheard, or don't say I said, because I've seen it. Let's say today you are going to the villa. Senate president is there, siren will blow. Speaker, siren will blow. IG, siren is blowing, and each of these will come with their minders. Then it becomes what? Competition for space. Competition for space. But if you have protocol and practice, it makes it very easy. You don't have to be told. I know we'll go into issues of certain arrangements and the rest of it. Everything is about order. So the training you are here, I want you to see it as a profound privilege and also an opportunity. I've made the point, no experience is wasted, but not having it, you may never learn. So please, over the next 2 days, see it as something to look forward to. wherein across the table, Martina is busy. Almost all her life, her working life, she did it in protocol. I think of us all, let me confess, I'm the least qualified because I did not directly go through the protocol department, but I'm only lying because I also work with my principal. So I have to know protocol. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have a few minutes to round up. I will give the microphone to the former minister. Just tell us, as user of protocol service, you have told us about some of the frustrations, expectations. Your final advice.
Thank you very much. I've been very educated here with all the professionals and especially the resource persons, former scope and everyone here. I think as political officers, we need this kind of interaction because in the end, we are very critical in the performance of all the officers that work under us. Let me say that my advice would be that these officers need to be properly trained. It would simplify your work. Everyone appointed to perform executive roles in corporate. We need to be properly brought and through as to the protocol that is established for doing our work. You already know that in Nigeria, we don't respect time for anything. You have an event for 10 o'clock, that's the time that somebody is waking up to ask, when is this event? They say it's 10 o'clock. Okay, that means by 12 it will start. Okay? So in the end, those who go early, they get frustrated and leave. And there is no greater disrespect to a nation than doing things not on time. If we can get Nigeria to just simply say, there will be no meeting in government that will start late, no matter who is involved. I believe that this ministry, the National Orientation Agency, can get the presidency convinced to ensure that for once in the nation, we insist as a matter of commitment of all public officers that we will never start an event late. I mean, I was a classroom teacher, I was a friend, grade 2 teacher. I was a journalist before I became commissioner, minister of information, minister of defense. I can't imagine myself going for anything late. There's nowhere in the world where you organize an event and people are not happy. The people who are organizing the event are not ready when you go. It's not possible. This is one area that can ease protocol and save time, increase productivity. Look, the time we waste waiting for an event to take place. And of course, at this level, our time is very, very valuable. 1 minute spent doing nothing is a lot of population. My advice is, as part of this trend, let us focus on political officers, how we can bring them on board in time for planning and organizing event timely. Then, this issue of how many people do you have to organize in a meeting? Now we sit on all protocols or stand on them, or all protocols observed, which means no protocol is observed. We can just get a national code in every event in Nigeria, federal, state, local. After you recognize it, Mr. President and whoever, ladies and gentlemen, if we get this established and follow it, everybody will get to it. And here you have to list, like the former scope had earlier said, you take 10 minutes recognizing people, and because it's the tradition here, anybody you skip in that recognition becomes your enemy. Can you imagine? And you recognize everybody, they didn't recognize me. And that becomes a major problem for you. Now, when you sort out this and agree on a standard, acknowledge recognition list, you will discover that everybody will get into it and will save time and will be able to do things properly. Now, talking about training. When I was minister, there was no professional minister doing on training. In every annual budget, I make sure that the money for training for all the categories of professionals under me is listed. Some went abroad. There is no way I will work with people who are the professionals that are going to deliver on services and I'm not making available budget for their training. It's not just a matter for the minister of the head of service. No, every ministry must have a budget for training the officers that are working under them. And I make sure that all officers working with me went on training. Every year they must go to refresh themselves so that when we come, we can perform better. Because without them, I will be able to deliver my services. Because of lack of time, there's one issue I want to place here. One thing that has rubbished public events is the role of them. I've not seen anybody talk about it here. The master of ceremony. Oh my God. In this country, what I've noticed over this time that I've been up to, you go to an event, a very critical event with people from all over the world. You get an MC. You will come and take the first 20 minutes joking about all kinds of things going on in Nigeria. I think that's the reason why we are called to that kind of thing. It has become a theater for his rulings. Now, you don't see that in any country. What is the training of MC in language, the protocols we're discussing? What role should they play? Is it possible that protocol officers could be trained to be MCs in very professional events that need guidance and timeliness in deliverance? Because one thing that I've seen is that when the MC work contrary to what you are doing, you end up not realizing anything. So the role of the MC in public events must be part of this training, and you people who are in charge of professionally ordering protocols, you must bring that on board and get a service-wide directive as to what role, who is qualified to be an MC in what event. You notice that in the military, they don't bring anybody to be the MC. It has to be somebody who is a professional soldier that understands military protocols. But the role of the MC has been such a controversial and difficult, costly thing for us as a nation. So I want to know who becomes an MC in this major events and what is the role of the professional protocol people in interacting with them. Finally, I also noticed that as a public officer, there's also a clash between protocol officers and personal aides. That has not been discovered. Between protocol officers and the personal aides of political officers. Now, again, we must understand, because you see, as a politician standing for election, you are the leader of a market. Because during campaign, you cannot afford to create a gap between you and anybody. You need everybody's vote. You need everybody's support. You dance with them. You sing with them. There is no demarcation. But the moment you are elected and sworn in, you are no longer that passive. You are now an officer of the republic called upon to deliver service to the nation. And it's only proper protocol arrangement that can separate the politician campaign from the officer of government who is supposed to deliver service to the nation. And the moment you get elected and you sit on that seat, will be so strong that people will know that you are now in a new job. The campaign is finished. You are hired to work for Nigerians. You must deliver on that agenda. You have become the property of government to deliver a service. That separation will not be there, because that is why you have the difficulty here, where everybody wants to go with the president, even when they are not invited, even when the protocol does not allow them. Then again, it is something that all of us can talk together at that level. When people, at the beginning of every dispensation, this kind of broad conversation must be conducted for people to know that there is a role for professionals who are already in government and a role for personal aides, and it should not conflict. It should not conflict. Now, a lot of those conflicts take place. Sometimes, is it the protocol officer that should receive these people, or is it the personal aide? And that could lead to a lot of conflict in government, leading to lack of performance and service delivery. Now, these are other issues that I believe, in order for that training, we must look into them, broaden the scope of the training, and ensure that we run a Nigerian government that is internationally seen as a standard service delivery institution that is able to deliver on services. And when people come to Nigeria, they should see it, they notice it. So I think that I'm highly educated to be here today, and I thank you for being invited. I pray that there will be more opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. For your information, we have a lot for you. Today, we have had only the introductory lecture. We have invited information officers. We have something for them, personal assistance, and how they must collaborate, work together to serve their principals better. The final advice.
Thank you very much. We've been planning events for protocol officers. Planning is very key to a successful event. So, like my colleague said, you know the type of event. You generate the guest list. You can, from the National Order of Presidents, from the Constitution, from the political parties, whatever, you generate the guest list. You clear with your principal. This is the event we are having. After that, you draft the invitation card. You must at every stage get clearance, because sometimes you may not know, the wordings to use. So you must also train yourself to know the timing, the execution, and selecting your team. Usually at events, especially at international conferences, you have a lot of visitors coming in, presidents, the heads of state, ministers, different categories. So usually the Ministry of Foreign Affairs send out notification to MDAs to select protocol officers, security officers, all of them. Then you must also, be quick thinking, and you must also plan for change, because protocol is dynamic. You plan for change in case things don't go this way. There must be a plan B. I think for now, later on, when the second lecture comes on, there are the other things to discuss about, which I will mention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So finally, I will give the microphone to the Permanent Secretary, PMO. Final.
Thank you very much. Well, mine is it really an advice? So just to respond to some of the recommendations that were made by the panelists. And just to let Ambassador Lolo know that, and I dare say, Head Boy Emeritus, because you are CMO at one point when you were Permanent Secretary. So I'm the head girl now, current head girl of the Permanent Secretary, and I have the honor of meeting an emeritus on this table. So just to let you know that